BE World is an international partnership committed to equipping the next generation of church leaders. And the need worldwide is incredible. AD 2000 estimates that over 5 million church leaders have no access to any kind of biblical or theological training. Christianity Today says that over 100,000 a day are receiving Christ. If we were to assume that we need one new leader for every 100 believers, that means we would need 1,000 new leaders a day right now, or 365,000 new leaders in a year, or over 3.6 million new leaders in 10 years. 85% of the churches in the world are led by men and women with no formal training in theology or ministry. And if every Christian training institute in the world operated at 120% of capacity, less than 10% of the unequipped leaders would receive training. Furthermore, 80% of those who come to the West to receive training never return home. Leaders from every non-Western region tell us that the number one need that they face is for advanced biblical leadership training. But how do we meet this need? The only answer is indigenous multiplication. How can BE help? We first of all have to identify what we're called to do, the mandate. Secondly, what is the method? How do we plan to do it? And thirdly, what is our strategy? How do we implement our plan? This takes us back to 68 AD when the Apostle Paul, writing from the Mamertine prison, penned his last words to Timothy, in which he gave a mandate. He said, "And the things which you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, these entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." Notice, there were three aspects to Paul's biblical training discipleship program. First, there was biblical information. But secondly, he was concerned about character, faithful men. And thirdly, he didn't want just Bible studies, but he wanted outcomes. He wanted these faithful men to be able to teach others also. Biblical knowledge, character, and ministry skills. Or, to put it in modern education speak, he was concerned about knowing, being, and doing. Paul wanted 4 generations of multiplication, from Paul to Timothy to faithful men to others also. But finally, he had a definite endpoint in mind. He wanted this to be entrusted to faithful men. For BEE, that endpoint, that final entrusting to faithful men, is what we call an indigenous church-based training system. What is the method? Indigenous multiplication. Nationals training nationals. Over the 35 years that we've been doing this, we've identified 9 keys to indigenous multiplication. One must begin with a prepared curriculum. There must be proper student selection, students that want to have a ministry and not just attend Bible studies. We have to clarify expectations and philosophy up front. They have to do all of the work. They're here to learn how to impact others. There must be a transferable curriculum. In other words, everything that they need to learn will be contained in the workbooks and textbooks. But very important, there must be a transferable teaching method that they can duplicate. For the most part, this would eliminate lecture because most of them would not have the confidence to turn around and do that. So we use an interactive facilitating type of approach. There must be accountability. We organize the students into accountability groups which meet weekly or bi-weekly with their national indigenous leader. There must be a strategic facilitator training. Selected facilitators are identified and trained how to launch a nationwide indigenously multiplying movement. And most important, there must be repeated personal contact for 3 to 5 years. Finally, we should entrust the work to them as soon as possible. In our particular approach, we require that every student in a first-generation group must have his own group by the second or third course, or he cannot continue in the training. When these things are present, we have experienced indigenous multiplication. Our goal is to train 1 million new leaders by 2020. What is the strategy? How will we implement our plan? How will the goal be achieved? We've already stressed the importance of repeated personal contact for many years. Secondly, there must be multiple methods of delivery. The BE curriculum is available on paper. It's also available on CDs or on thumb drives, and it can be downloaded to the student's hard disk or mobile device, and it is available over the internet on their PC or mobile device. In November of 2008, BE World launched the Internet Biblical Seminary, which now has over 4,000 students in 120 countries. Also, there must be training nationals how to facilitate online learning. Westerners cannot do this, so we train individual groups of English-speaking nationals in the target country to begin nationwide online training in their own language. Furthermore, each BE facilitator is required to train 30 multiplying leaders. We ask them not to worry about the numbers, but to worry about their 30. We've worked this out based upon our experience, and we can testify that this should result in significant indigenous multiplication through several generations. And finally, it is critical that we incorporate many intermission projects, other missions, and church partnerships. We've estimated that if we can identify 100 churches who will take on this kind of training in many countries, we can achieve our goal. We believe that if we embrace our mandate, if we follow our method, and if we implement our strategy, then we can obtain our goal to train 1 million new leaders for the church worldwide by 2020.